The fresh evidence of rapid inflation acceleration in the United States in June rekindled expectations that the Federal Reserve would raise interest rates ahead of time. Now traders are alert to every hint on when the US Central Bank might begin tapering its monetary stimulus. What events will provide such clues and how will they change market sentiment on the US dollar? Let's find out in our regular video calendar on InstaForex TV channel. During the European session on Thursday, traders will find out what has been going on in the UK labour market. The previous report for May already exposed positive changes because the number of jobless claims contracted to the biggest extent since November 1996. According to the consensus, the number of Britons who filed for unemployment benefits could have decreased by another 120,000. Steady employment growth comes as a result of gradual lifting of restrictions on businesses and reopening of the key economic sectors. So, robust hiring in the UK firms up the pound sterling against the US dollar. During the New York session on Thursday, the US Labor Department releases weekly updates on unemployment claims for the last week. The information for the week ended on July 10 will be available on July 15. The number of initial jobless claims rose unexpectedly 2 weeks ago. This time, investors are ready for the information about a downtrend in the number of first-time applications for unemployment benefits. Nevertheless, the latest number of initial jobless claims is still almost twice as high as the key level of 200,000, which is a sign of the healthy labor market in the United States. In other words, investors still have doubts about the steady improvement of the US employment. On Thursday, market participants will be able to judge investment opportunities of American assets on the basis of data on US industrial production for June. The US manufacturing sector is gaining momentum mainly through growing production rates of vehicles and spare parts. Experts have detected a global trend for growing prices of second-hand cars for the reason of suspended car factories and disrupted logistic chains of spare parts. At present, car production facilities are being reopened. Notably, the reading for May was better than expected. So there is a chance that the industrial production in June could surpass analysts' expectations. Otherwise, the US dollar might tumble for a short while. On Thursday, the US dollar's trajectory will be determined by the content of the keynote speech by Fed's chairman Jerome Powell. The policymaker is due to present his semi-annual testimony on monetary policy in front of Congress. Jerome Powell is likely to reassure the market that a recent spike in inflation scores is a temporary phenomenon, and this is not an excuse to tighten monetary policy too early. The clearly dovish stance of the US Central Bank should weaken the US currency. Apart from consumer inflation and employment in the United States, retail sales are an equally important metric on the health of the American economy. In fact, consumer spending accounts for almost 2/3 of the national output in the United States. So, data on consumer activity will provide a clue to the ongoing trends in the top global economy. Retail sales sank in May, defying the forecast for an increase. If retail sales contract again on the back of rising consumer prices, this is a precursor of negative changes in the economy. The consensus suggests that consumer activity will log a further 0.5% drop in June. Some analysts assume that consumers might have revised their expenses, shifting focus away from spending in stores towards the services sector, for example, traveling. Nevertheless, a slump in retail sales is certainly bearish for the dollar-denominated assets. You were watching Forex Trader Calendar on InstaForex TV channel with me, Kate Stichina. We wish you profitable deals with InstaForex.